Hello and welcome to Market Wrap on Bloomberg Quint Live. Let's take a look at how the markets have shaped up today and what they've done through the course of the week. And it's turned out to be a fairly satisfactory day today, at least as far as benchmarks go, with a near 1% up move for the indices. And we do have the likes of Tech Mahindra, Maruti Suzuki and Tata Steel leading the gains in today's day of trade. Some heavyweights there in that list of gainers too. And well, the auto pack is doing well, and that of course is a positive. On the losing end, we do have the usual suspects. Yes Bank as well as Indiabulls Housing Finance, well, bearing down on the indices. But if you leave those two stocks aside, we really don't have too much to speak for when it comes to losers today. What about the broader markets? The NSE 500 index also advancing largely in tandem with the benchmarks, with the likes of Shankara Building Products locked in an upper circuit of 20%. You have Mahindra Holidays, Sterlite Technologies, Reliance Communications all advancing in trade. On the losing end, well, once again, Info Edge, of course, is a surprise counter, losing as much as 6%. And the other surprising name is perhaps Lakshmi Vilas Bank as well, down another 5%. So there has been, a fair number of new players which are showing up as far as losers this is concerned. What about the week? Well, again, there has been a lot of volatility. The Nifty did come off by as much as 0.7%, but Coal India stood out surprisingly too, up 7%. And we had gains in a whole host of oil-related companies. So Bharat Petroleum, Indian Oil Corp, ONGC, all leading the gains, along with some help from the auto space, which includes names like Tata Motors and Hero MotoCorp. On the losing end, again, it's HDFC, of course, because of the technical adjustment there. Indiabulls Housing Finance, Sun Pharma, and Asian Paints under a tad bit of pressure. It's not always that you see Asian Paints on the losers list, but for the week, it is down by as much as 5.5%. Moving on to your key movers as far as your broader market is concerned. Again, the 20% up move in Shankara Building Products today give that impetus, and which is why it's up as much as 40.5% up. We have CG Power, Shilpa Medicare, JP Associates all advancing in trade, and Shilpa Medicare specifically in this case has shown a little bit of a recovery considering so much volatility in that stock. On the losing end, of course, you do have the likes of Indian Bank and Canara Bank, OBC, of course, a lot of these banks from the public sector space which were under pressure, besides the usual suspects such as Cox & Kings and Coffee Day Enterprises. Now, these are just some of the names that have moved in trade, but let's also talk about some events which we can highlight through the course of the week. So first up, on Sunday, September 1st, we had sales numbers from the August and from the automotive space, and they remained weak with no real signs of revival. And on Tuesday, September 3rd, the government and LIC together decided to infuse 9,000 crores in IDBI Bank months after the nation's largest insurer bought a majority stake in the lender. The government also announced an increase in the price of ethanol procured by public sector oil marketing companies for 1 year starting December. On Wednesday, September 4th, the RBI made it mandatory for banks to link all retail and small and medium prices loans or enterprise loans to an external benchmark from October 1st. And the Committee of Creditors for Jet Airways announced that it has shortlisted 2 entities to proceed with bidding for the airline from the list of 3 firms that had expressed initial interest. On Thursday, September 5th, Mukesh Ambani, Reliance Jio announced tariff plans for its Jio Fiber broadband services starting with 699 rupees a month, among other things. And let's not forget, a Delhi court sent former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram to Tihar jail in the INX media corruption case. Now, these are some important events that came through the course of the week. But let's also take a look at what levels can we watch out for as far as the Nifty is concerned based on open interest in derivatives. Now, things have changed over the past 3 days, considering we saw gains in the Nifty, and we did see some strength returning to the Nifty, considering it's once again inching back towards the mark of 11,000, which is why we're now starting to see a little more writing around the 11,200 and the 11,300 calls. Of course, 11,500 is the one with the maximum open interest, but that's still a bit far off, so I'm not really going to talk about that. And on the lower end, we continue to see 10,800 put as the one with the maximum open interest, with an increase in accumulation, which will further cements its place as a reasonable support, at least in the near term. So those are just some of the levels that you can watch out for as we move into trade today. But among a bunch of other things that are lined up for trade next week. In fact, let's start with this week itself. So we will have Vikram make a soft landing on the moon this coming Saturday. That is the expectation. And next week we will have some more macroeconomic data. So we'll have CPI data on Thursday, along with, something like the industrial production data, as well as, many other factors that we are keeping an eye on as far as the economy is concerned. Trade data as well on Thursday 12th, and that should, of course, give us some sort of an idea about where the economy is heading, of course, the kind of speculation that can then proceed as far as, the economy is concerned. But plenty of more things to keep an eye on, specifically the markets, given we have seen so much movement in the markets, and there's a little bit of an improvement in sentiment. We're just going to have to wait and watch whether or not that holds as we move into, a truncated trading week next week. That's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.